My dear friends, the gospel passage is from Mark chapter 4, from verse 35 to 41, where we have the story of Jesus calming the storms, when he and the disciples experienced a violent storm while on the sea. The theme is the calming of the storm. My aim is to use this story to identify the many storms of life and how, with the help of Jesus, these storms can be calmed once again. A storm is a violent disturbance of the atmosphere with strong winds and usually rain, thunder, lightning, or snow. With this description, one cannot stand still when hit by a storm. This means that a storm shakes us no matter how firm we may be standing. A storm can push us onto the ground. The question is, which situation or experience is like a storm kicking us off our feet? Is it spiritual? Is it financial? Is it marital? Is it family? Is it educational or health related? It is important to stress that the disciples were experienced fishermen, so they might have been used to storms on the sea. However, the author says that this particular storm was violent and fierce, to the extent that even the waves were breaking over the boat. The implication, therefore, is that it was unusual and beyond the capacity of the disciples. No wonder they were terrified. Any situation or experience that is beyond our capacity or control may be our violent storm. So imagine that after investing all your savings into a business with the hope that upon retirement you have something to live on, only to wake up to the news that that business has collapsed. This definitely will be the violent storm that will break you. Or imagine the sudden death of a parent, or the sudden death of a spouse or a child. In moments like this, we get depressed. We are unable to eat. We are unable to sleep. We wonder why this? Where is our God? A lot of questions run through the mind. So like the disciples, it's like Jesus is asleep. Doesn't God care that we perish? Mind you, in biblical times, the sea was perceived to be the abode of the devil. So a violent storm of this nature seems to suggest that Satan was in control. This can be compared to moments of spiritual attack. And the question is, what is God doing? Why is God silent? My dear friends, from the text, the disciples admitted that the situation was beyond them. They needed the help of the Lord. So what did they do? The text says they woke Jesus up and said to him, "Lord, do you not care that we perish?" The disciples told Jesus what they felt. For me, this is prayer. Prayer in a desperate situation. God does not take offense when we tell him how we feel. In moments of frustration, in moments of desperation, we also need to wake Jesus up like the disciples did. We should wake him up when we feel that he is sleeping. We should wake him up with our prayers, and we should wake him up by our novenas. The truth is that no desperate prayer goes unanswered. When Hannah was desperate about her state and went before God, she woke him up to her state of infertility. And finally, what happened? Samuel was born. Jesus, in response to the fears of the disciples, we are told, rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Quiet, be still." It is my prayer and wish that these same words of Jesus will resound once again in the storms that confront us. May these same words of Jesus, "Quiet, be still," calm the storms that are before us. My dear friends, after Jesus had rebuked the storms, we are told that he asked the disciples, "Why are you terrified? O you men of little faith," he said. The point is that how can the boat sink when Jesus is in it? How can we sink when Christ lives in us? How can Satan conquer us when Jesus is part of our story? Christ in us, we know, is the hope of glory. So what is therefore my conclusion? That may the authority of Christ, which is demonstrated over the forces of nature, be extended to us, especially as we experience the different storms of life. And may these words of Jesus, quiet, be still, calm the storms in our lives. Amen. And God bless you.